The Vuelta a España turned on its head today. Grand Tours never pass easily for riders, but some just make it look less painful. Sepp Kuss remains in the red jersey lead, but Remco Evenepoel fell victim in stage 13, losing 27 minutes. Onside at the top of the Col du Tourmalet, 2,115 meters, where Jumbo-Visma conquered the day. Sepp Kuss still in the race lead, and Jonas Vingegaard, the two-time Tour de France champion, stage winner. The team went 1-2-3 on the stage, Primoz Roglic taking third, and the team now sits 1-2-3 in the overall classification. But Belgian champion Remco Evenepoel lost any chance of a repeat Vuelta victory. Things started to unravel quite quickly for Remco in the 134.7 kilometer stage from Spain to here in France. We didn't spend much time in Spain, crossing the border at the first summit finish. Then it was a downhill, and then the riders of the Vuelta a España faced the Col du Abyss and Remco Evenepoel while he was staring down a dark tunnel. Soon on the climb towards the top, around about 90 kilometers to go, I think it was, 3 kilometers from the top. First, we were watching the UAE team rider, one of the trio of leaders, João Almeida, who rode such a great time trial the other day. He was losing ground, but then Remco Evenepoel sent shockwaves through the cycling world when he was dropped. The defending champion of 2022 lost ground quickly, and we spoke to James Knox, his teammate there at the Soudal Quick-Step team, and he said they quite frankly didn't know that Remco Evenepoel was on a bad day today. They were planning a normal GC day as always, and as soon as Remco was showing signs of weakness, well, it was the yellow and black Jumbo-Visma team, the Dutch team, riding for the red jersey American from Durango, Colorado, Sepp Kuss. They started to put the hammer down. They wanted to put nails in Remco Evenepoel's coffin. At the top, 1 minute, 20 seconds, then down into the valley. We had a small escape group form, but it wouldn't come to much. Over the Spondell climb, and there things started to really take a turn for the worse if they weren't already bad for Remco. It was 6 minutes at the top of that climb. On the descent, we saw Bahrain victorious, doing a heck of a job, trying to set something up for Mikel Landa, who I think was around 11th overall on the day. They could sense the Vuelta was going to be turned on its head. Hats off, chapeau to the Dutchman Robert Gesink, the veteran at Jumbo-Visma. He was burying himself to make sure the team could gain as much time as possible for Kuss, Vingegaard, and Primoz Roglic in today's stage. It was going to be important if they were going to ditch Remco down into the valley. After a little brief move, we saw Vingegaard up front with Kuss. Roglic was a little bit distanced. We didn't know what was going on. Everything came back together, at least among the top riders, for the epic climb of the Col du Tourmalet. They were taking it from the easier side this time around. The last time we were up here, well, it was a stage in the Tour de France. The riders were coming up this way. Today, they were coming up that way. And you'll remember the stage of the Tour de France. Jumbo-Visma were trying to turn the screws on Tadej Pogačar, couldn't do so. And at the end, well, Pogačar took revenge on that stage, later finished second overall. But today, we were coming up on the other side of the climb, which is easier at parts, but definitely harder towards the top. 18.8 kilometers of climbing. Gesink had done his work. Now is over to Wilco, man. Wilco Kilderman. He was burying himself as well for his team leaders. 10 kilometers out, doing the job. And then at 8 kilometers out, Jonas Vingegaard, who later we discover was out there riding for his daughter's birthday on the day. 8 kilometers out, he does one of his first of many attacks that would come in the day. Ayuso and Mas follow. Sepp Kuss marks the other. We would have taken note that Marc Soler, who was second overall on the day, also UAE Team Emirates, he was dropped, going by the wayside, drifting back to somewhere where João Almeida was in no man's land. They kept going. Vingegaard again at 7.7 does an attack. Keep in mind, he was starting the day at 2 minutes and 22 seconds in the GC. Enric Mas was behind, right behind Vingegaard, a little bit gapped, and then further back is Ayuso doing all the work with Roglic and Kuss and the unpronounceable Kjan Uterbrooks there in tow. 4 riders really making Ayuso do the job as Jumbo-Visma should have, marking all their rivals. They had all their cards in their hands and they could take advantage of today's stage. Jonas Vingegaard, last year's winner of the Tour de France and this year's winner of the Tour de France, was never seen again. going away to victory at the top of the Tourmalet climb, just right over that way. He had around about a 1 minute in hand with 1 kilometer to go. Sepp Kuss started launching his offensive at 3 kilometers out, and Primož Roglič was marking the others that were left behind, like Enric Mas. Those guys would be suffering too. And we thought on the day Primož Roglič was suffering, but according to the sports directors, according to the riders we talked to, Primož and Sepp Kuss, this was all part of the plan, all scripted out by Jumbo-Visma last night before they started the stage. The only thing they couldn't have scripted was what Remco Evenepoel was going to do or wouldn't do today. Well, Primož Roglič, about 1 kilometer out, he launches 2, he finishes solo, Sepp Kuss finishes solo, and Jonas finishes solo in a reverse order there of the 1, 2, 3 on today's finish. Jonas, Sepp, and Primož. A celebration of the day for the Dutch cycling team, and also now looking at the GC, quite a celebration. Sepp Kuss now sets on top, 1 minute 37 over his nearest rival, which happens to be his teammate Primož Roglič. Jonas Vingegaard at 1:44 minutes back, also a Jumbo-Visma teammate. Then we see Juan Ayuso, the nearest non-Jumbo rider, at 2:37. Enric Mas at 3:06. Marc Soler at 3:10. Mikel Landa at 4:12. And much further on, Remco Evenepoel paying the price today with the 60th place on the stage and 27 minutes back. He now sets 19th overall, falling down 16 spots in the GC at 27 minutes and 50 seconds. It seems the only wonder now in the Vuelta a España is how this 1, 2, 3 in the top podium spots could be reshuffled before we hit Madrid. But as Primož Roglič told me after the stage, sweet worries. Tomorrow, another mountain stage, a summit finish to Belagua. But today, Remco Evenepoel failed the exams, and Jumbo-Visma reigned supreme in the 2023 Vuelta a España.